21st century woman gotta get right. Entrepreneurship, motherhood, marriage, divorce, dating, healthy living, and thriving, of course. It's the Tanya Barnett Show. It's the Tanya Barnett Show.
Hey there, this is Tanya Barnett, the host of the Tanya Barnett Show, where we discuss the unique challenges of the 21st century women. So buckle up and get ready, sister, to get your life right.
It's the Tanya Barnett Show. It's the Tanya Barnett Show. It's the Tanya Barnett Show. It's the Tanya.
Hey everybody, this is Tanya Barnett, the host of the Tanya Barnett Show, the flyest talk show out there on the internet. I am so excited that you decided to join me tonight. My special guest is fantastic. You're going to be inspired by her story. I met her earlier this year at Howard University Bookstore at a Boss Network event. And when I heard her story, y'all, I immediately was attracted to her, and I said I needed to connect with her. So I'm super excited that she decided to come on, share her story with you. She's going to get you inspired, and you're going to walk away from today's show knowing that all things are possible if you just believe. And so without further ado, I want to bring my guest on right after this break. I'm Tanya Barnett, the host of the Tanya Barnett Show. We'll see you in 2 seconds.
Tanya Barnett Show.
Hey there, this is Tanya Barnett, the host of the Tanya Barnett Show.
Hey y'all, this is my favorite section of the Tanya Barnett Show. This is She's Gotta Have It. I love She's Gotta Have It because I get to bring to you Black businesses that I have to have their products. So today's Black business is Purple Passion. I have on 3 of her bracelets. This is Purple Passion is the company, and she makes fantastic bracelets. Y'all know my brand color is pink, and so she made these for me. I'm really super excited to be able to share her with you. The company is Purple Passion. Make sure you check her out on Instagram and on Twitter. She is a fantastic local jeweler here in the Washington, D.C. area. Also, she made these earrings to go with it. I couldn't get a 3-piece. She doesn't make necklaces yet, but she does make fantastic arm candy as well as jewelry for your ears. So make sure you check out my She's Gotta Have It today here on the Tanya Barnett Show is none other than Purple Passion. So I want to bring along my guest tonight. It is none other than Priscilla Q. Williams. She is a nursepreneur. She is a nurse coach, and she is fantastic. Hey, Priscilla, how are you?
Hey, Tanya. How are
you? Doing fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm so excited to have you as my special guest.
I'm excited to be here with you.
Yay. So we got a little late start, so I'm going to jump right into your interview if you're okay with that.
Sure.
Awesome. So can you tell my audience a little bit about who Priscilla Q. Williams is and exactly what is a nursepreneur and a nurse coach?
Yes. So again, Tanya, thanks for having me. I am a registered nurse by trade, a nurse educator, I'm a mother, wife. And what I do is empower women to live the life that they were created to live, the life that God truly designed for them to live. I'm a certified coach. I'm an author. I'm a speaker. And I just love to empower and motivate women to get to the next level. And so I'm excited to be here with you and share with your audience today.
Oh, thank you. And I am honored that you said yes. We just met each other a few months ago. And so for you to say yes to me is just fantastic. I love your story. You are fantastic. And so one of the things I wanted you to share just a little bit about how you had to overcome a challenge, because today's topic is overcoming challenges even when you don't want to, even when you want to quit, even when it just seems like everything is stacked against you and you might as well just cave in, quit, eat a sleeve of Girl Scout cookies, watch Netflix, and just, just say, forget it, I'm done. So can you tell us your story about how nursing school happened and what happened when it was time for you to finish up your courses?
Yes. Again, Tanya, like you said, overcoming obstacles is always obstacles in our way. It's always things that's going to try to stop us from getting to the place that we are desiring to go. And so for me, going through nursing school, it was definitely a struggle. I don't know how many nurses are listening out there, but I know they can attest to going through all of the tests and the rigorous studies and just trying to get through the program because nurses know just as much as doctors. The only difference is we don't have as much schooling, right?
Right.
And so while I was going through the program, my son was diagnosed with juvenile diabetes. I got the senior year of the program, and I actually failed out of the program, which means that at that point I could no longer continue with my nursing degree. I was actually devastated. I remember being told the news, and I collapsed in the school hallway. I was just so hurt because that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to be a nurse ever since I was in the 3rd grade. I remember the teacher going around asking what the kids wanted to be when they grew up. I knew exactly what I wanted to be, and I wanted to be a nurse. And so this was a lifelong desire and dream, but I had a delay in getting to that goal. Mm-hmm. And so when I failed out of the program, Tanya, I was devastated. I wanted to give up. And also there was also so many other women who failed out of the program myself. Right. And today, some of them are nurses because they didn't have that drive to continue and keep going. But I knew what it was that God put in my heart. I knew what I was born to do. And so I kept going. So after fighting to get back in the program, talking with the president of the college, just sharing my story, saying, hey, I have a son with diabetes. This is a hard program. You got to let me back in. And Tanya, he told me no. But by the time I went home over the weekend, I sat out of the program for a whole year. And so that's when he allowed me to come back in. And that's when I completed the program. And so I passed that program with flying colors. And by the time I graduated, I walked across the stage as a registered nurse.
Wow, that is powerful. Yes. That is so powerful. So ladies, if you're listening right now and you're facing some insurmountable challenge that you feel like, you know what, I'm done with this, let this inspire you to keep going. There's so many things that we can allow. Like Priscilla said, she said some of those women aren't even nurses. So they allow that one thing to just derail them as opposed to figuring it out. I tell my kids, if there isn't a way, make a way. Yes. I was kind of taught that also by my parents. If there isn't a way, make a way. And that's what you did. And I applaud you for that. And that's what drew me to you, because so many people need to hear that. We give up, or we say, oh, well, maybe that wasn't God's will for my life.
Exactly.
And, we make all these reasons and rationale, but for real, it is. It's just one of those things where you have to push. You have to just press through and go towards what you're called to do. And so I appreciate you sharing that story with us tonight.
Absolutely.
So what would you say to a woman who, or if there may be men watching as well, what would you say to them if they're facing something right now where they just feel like, you know what, I've tried and I'm tired and I just can't do this anymore? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I would say, Tanya, that delay is not denial. So many times we get delayed in our journey. We get delayed in what it is that we want to accomplish. We get delayed in, starting a business, delayed in finishing school. So many things we desire to do, and sometimes delay happens. But delay does not mean that you weren't meant to do that thing. Delay just means that you're supposed to learn something. You're supposed to have a story to share. Everything that I endured, falling out of the program, sitting out a year, getting back in the program, all of that stuff, I didn't understand it then, Tanya, but it was a part of my journey. And so I share that story now because there are nurses who's going through the exact same thing as we speak. And so I have to be able to use that story to help others. And then it also made me stronger. It gave me a testimony to say that God can turn anything around. It can look weary. It can look bad. It can look like it's no way that it's going to happen for you. But things can turn around in a matter of seconds. And so I'm a witness, and I'm a firm believer that just because there's a delay does not mean that it's not for you to do it.
Right. And you know what the funny thing is, I actually had an opportunity to be interviewed today by Dr. Yolanda Lindsay, and she talks about how her struggle was to get through medical school, and so she did not give up. And so I just think it's so important for us to understand as women, there's so many things that come against us, especially those of us who are mothers and wives, but when you know that this is what you're supposed to be doing, you got to press, you know, and I'm not making light of that. I'm even going to give an example where today I posted on Facebook where, you know, my husband had asked me to go back to substitute teaching, something I really didn't want to do. But I stepped out on faith. I trusted my husband's decision. I trust God. I prayed about it. I went on Monday, got a Facebook instant message on Thursday saying, hey, can you come to my school on Monday? Went in today. Took 15 minutes walking around the school with the principal. She was like, oh, you got the job. She said, you had it last week. I just wanted to meet you. And then come to find out, she was my daughter's principal back in the day. And then also she remembered me from when I was a cheer coach. So she was like, this is your classroom. We'll see you when school starts. And so, you know, I had to really press past my feelings to say, I don't want to do this anymore, God. I don't want to do this anymore. And then here the blessing was, I'm going to be able to start working in another week. And then that takes the pressure off my husband to hold it down because, you know, the big speaking engagements and, you know, the pay and all that stuff from that has been delayed, but it's not denied. Absolutely. So I had to press past my feelings, press past what I didn't want to do. And I think a lot of times, especially our young people, they don't know how to press. And they watch mama. How is mama handling this? You know, is mama giving up? Is dad giving up and complaining? You know, are we turning to other things to cope? Or are we turning to God to cope and then allowing God to you know, order our steps so that we can keep it moving?
Yes.
Wow.
That's good stuff, Tanya.
So let me ask you something. Did you have any girlfriends or a tribe or a circle when you were going through that you were able to draw on? If you did, can you share with the viewers what that was like?
Yeah, well, actually, it's so funny you said that. One of the young ladies who failed out of the program, similar to me, she failed out a year before I did.
Okay.
And so she was like a person that would, you know, say, Priscilla, you got to fight. You got to keep going. And so because she actually endured the same thing. And so she was able to be a testimony to me to say, hey, you can do this. Keep pressing, keep going. You can do it. Also, I had a strong family support. My mom, you know, always told me that I can make it no matter what. You know, so even after failing out of the program, she said, Priscilla, that's okay. That just means God's going to take you a different way, but you're still going to accomplish it. You know, I had my husband at the time. He was my fiance. And so I had his support. You know, the days I was sitting there crying on the side of my bed and was like, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe this is something I want. And this isn't something God is allowing me to do. And he encouraged me and prayed with me and just said, hey, you can do this, keep going. So those were just you know, my family support. And then my son, I knew I had to make it, Tanya, because my son was my fight. He was that fight in me. He was my why, my reason to keep pushing. No matter how many times I got told no. I remember one of the instructors telling me, maybe it's not meant for you to be a nurse. Maybe you should be a respiratory therapist or do something else. And so that hurt me so bad, but I knew that I couldn't explain it to her, but I knew what God had called me to do. I had visions of seeing myself working as a nurse. And when I say right now I haven't missed a beat, I'm working for one of the top hospitals in the nation, you know? And so I am just so blessed. My nursing career has taken me all over with speaking and just experienced so much because I was obedient and I kept fighting no matter how many times I got told no.
Wow, that is so good. And we're going to touch on that after the break. I'm going to ask you some questions about this fantastic new job you have. And then you also touched on traveling. So after the break, we're going to bring back Priscilla. She is a nursepreneur, a nurse coach, you name it. She is everything. She is fire. You want to stay right there. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break.
When we talk about real things, talk about life things, the 21st century woman gotta get right. Entrepreneurship, motherhood, marriage, divorce, dating, healthy living, and thriving, of course. It's the Tanya Barnett Show.
This is Tanya Barnett, the host of the Tanya Barnett Show, the flyest internet talk show out there. I'm so glad you decided to stick around. My special guest tonight is Priscilla Williams. She is fantastic. She will have you motivated. After this, I'm telling you, if your life is not changed after this, I don't know what to do. I mean, I've had phenomenal guests after guests after guests after guests, And if you're not changed by her interview, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I just don't know. I'm gonna keep going. She gonna keep going. I don't know what to say. So, Priscilla, you talked about how now you're working at the top hospital here in the U.S., and then you also travel. Can you share with people who are like, but she's a nurse. How is she traveling? She's a nurse. So can you explain to them what type of doors have opened for you with you following the calling that you have on your life?
Yes. So, Tanya, it's been a blessing because I've been allowed to work in some great areas of healthcare. So, I've worked in ER, I've worked in oncology, I've worked in pharmaceuticals, I've worked for pharmacies, Walgreens, AbbVie Pharmaceuticals. I've traveled doing nurse education. And so these doors were open because, of course, God allowed that. But also, I'm always one that loves to continue to grow. And so it looks like every 2 years, I'm moving to another level in healthcare industry.
Wow.
And so just recently, me and my family moved here to Florida from Chicago. And so, Tanya, we were here not even a good 2 weeks before I received the offer from Mayo Clinic. And so that's one of the top
Wow.
oncology clinics in the nation. And so right now, I'm currently working as a chemotherapy nurse.
Okay.
And so I actually administer chemotherapy to cancer patients. And it was so funny that you mentioned going back to teaching and, you kind of was hesitant about doing it. That's not really what you wanted to do. And so for the last couple of years, I've been working, like I said, for pharmaceutical companies, traveling, kind of doing my own thing, working from home. And so to go back into a hospital setting was a little like, I don't know if I want to do this, And so, again, you mentioned pushing past those feelings. And so I have to say it is a big adjustment. But to be blessed to work at a facility that allow cancer patients to come in and get the best treatment with the best oncologists, people who are getting diagnosed with cancer and only having 2 and 3 months to live, to be able to share my light with them, to be able to just share my joy and peace with them as I give them chemotherapy, as I minister to them while they're going through a devastating disease.
Right.
This is where God has me at this moment. And sometimes he put us places where we may not fully understand why we're there, but I'm on assignment. And so being on assignment may sometimes going back to a place where you may not necessarily want to go, but you're there for a reason. And so that's where I am right now in my nursing career. I'm working with, cancer patients. And I love it. It is definitely some work. It's emotional. It's an emotional part of healthcare because people are dying. People are getting devastating news.
Right.
And so you have to be equipped for that. And so I have to stay equipped and prayed up in order to be able to bless others. So I'm excited.
Wow. I mean, while you were talking, I was just like, okay, Lord, I hear you. And I didn't even know you. Look, this all happened for a reason, hearing your story and then what just happened for me. I mean, it's all, he's just amazing. I mean, you just encouraged me like, T, when you go in here on the 28th, you're there for the kids. There's somebody that needs you. Give them that encouragement, So you just helped me out. You just sealed the deal for me and made me feel a lot better about it. So thank you. And I hope it's helping those who are watching us, who are catching us on replay or on YouTube. If this is really inspiring you, make sure you let me know. Reach out to me at Tanya@realwifemovement.com. And I would love to be able to share how this has helped you. And so, Priscilla, how has your nursing change or your nursing journey, how has it affected your relationship with your honey? Has it brought y'all closer together? How has this affected your relationship? Because, I am the real wife coach, so I'd like to touch on how the honeys are affected by some of the things that we do. So how has your honey adjusted to even moving?
Yes. Well, actually, one of the reasons we moved was because he started a new career here in Florida.
Okay.
But it was a big adjustment, because, of course, we left all of our friends and family back in Chicago.
Right.
But, however, my husband has always been supportive. He's always been one that, say, hey, if this is the direction you're going, I support you 100%.
Oh, I love
so I'm
it.
really blessed to have someone that supports me 100%. Not halfway, but 100%. And sometimes that could be difficult because we are in a new state. We don't have any friends and family here, but we have each other. And my son's getting ready to start college, and so this is all of a transition phase for us right now.
Okay.
And sometimes in transition, it can get tight, it can get tough, it can get difficult, it can get, you're trying to figure out this whole thing, how it's going to work out. But when you both have, God in the center of what it is you're doing, we know that God is always going to take care of us. He's always going to provide for us. And we have to stick closer together because we're in this transition, because everything is new and things are evolving. And so it is definitely some work as far as our marriage. We have to put everything into it because we're in a new season right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is so good. I mean, my honey, y'all don't see him, but he set up my set today, here. And, the last couple of weeks he's been setting it up, getting me straight, making sure I have everything. And so it really is important to have that support. And then communicating that. I think a lot of times as women, I know at one point I would tell my husband, well, you don't understand me. You don't. And he was like, but babe, you never told me what you needed. So I didn't know you needed help. I'm looking at him, mean mugging him and, throwing the covers over and like, don't touch me and stuff like that. But it's because I didn't communicate my needs. And so I think it's really important to also as women communicate our needs because they can't read our minds. And so I think it's just important to have that support. And if you feel like you're not getting it, communicate and let him know, hey, babe, this is what I need from you at this moment. I love that you and your husband are working together. And like you say you're drawing together and doing this together. Because it is a partnership. And what one person does, his shifting and going to a new job, that affected you as well. And so I'm sure y'all did a lot of praying and communicating as well as far as that's concerned. So I just think it's great that you have that support. For those women who are struggling right now with a transition and want to turn back, what is something you would say to them to keep them going forward if they're like dealing with, say, their spouse has a new job and they need to transition, because I also want to make sure that we're clear that for Tanya Barnett and the Real Wife Movement, I'm really clear on having healthy relationships and having healthy marriages. So what is one thing you would say to a woman who is like, okay, my husband has his job offer. I don't want to leave my friends and my family. I don't want to leave my church. I don't want to leave my, my job. What is something you would say to her?
Well, Tanya, I would say, and this is 100% from the heart, I would say obedience is better than sacrifice. It was difficult for me. I left a 6-figure job with all of the perks. They paid for my car. I traveled all over the place. Absolutely love, work from home, making over 6 figures. It was just a difficult decision. But I have to say that we have to know that when God allows our spouse to have a vision for something, the same way he supported me all these years, I have to be able to support him as well. So that means making some difficult decisions and stepping out on faith and doing what it is that God called us to do. So, yes, it was hard to leave my family, his family, everything I know was back in Chicago.
Right.
But I'm very clear to know that God does not take the favor off your life because you relocate to another state.
I love that.
I know that he is still working some miraculous things. And so we've only been here a little bit over a month full time. And in this short time, we've been able to find a church home. We've been able to minister at the shelter down at the beach.
Wow.
We've been able to just do some awesome things together. And I know that God has a calling for us here in Florida. And so it'll all unfold in time. So it was difficult. I'm not going to lie. It's some days I cried. There's some days I still feel in my feelings some kind of way.
Right.
And I'm like, man, I miss my family and all of that stuff. But I know that God's plan is a great plan. He has a plan for us. And so I trust and know that my husband's vision is great. And I want him to be successful. And I want him to have his dreams and his goals. Because guess what? I can have all the dreams and goals I want. But if he isn't fulfilling his purpose and his dreams and his goals, then how fair is that?
Right.
It has to be a sacrifice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. And that is so powerful. And I think women need to understand that. I know that I get a lot of pushback from single women Just even in some of the things that you said, that's very insightful for them. But it's true. It's really is true that, when our husbands have a vision and God places things in them, we are the carriers of that,
Yes.
and it's so funny today. I was just like, I had to break down and honor my husband. And I know for some women that's a dirty word, but I really had to honor my husband. And then in me honoring him, God bless the both of us. So not only is me working this new job a great thing for me, but then it helps my family financially as well. And then we're able to do things with our children. So it's a trickle down effect when we as wives honor our husbands and carry their visions out. And so I just think it's key that you said that. And I appreciate you sharing that. So single ladies, if you're watching, I know I have a lot of single ladies that watch to say, I watch you and I listen to you because I want to be a good wife. That is some good advice that Priscilla just gave you. She said she cried. And I love that you gave the realness of it, that it wasn't like, oh my God, she's working at this fly hospital and she's doing great things. She's traveling. No, she cried. There was some pain. There was some difficulty. There was some uncomfortableness with that, but you pushed through it. And now you're ministering to people. And I just think it's fantastic. But I think it's important that people see the not so sexy stuff too.
Absolutely.
They see that we're human. We are human. And so I just think it's just phenomenal that you share that with us, Priscilla. So thank you so much for sharing that. So we're going to wrap up this interview in a few minutes right after this break. Priscilla, I want you to hold tight. And those of you who are out there, grab you a soft drink, grab you some chips or whatever you need to grab, and hold tight. We'll be right back after this break. This is Tanya Barnett with the Tanya Barnett Show.
Talk about real things, talk about life things. The 21st century woman gotta get right. Entrepreneurship, motherhood, marriage, divorce, dating, healthy living, and thriving, of course. It's the Tanya Barnett Show. It's the Tanya Barnett Show.
Hey there, this is Tanya Barnett, the host of the Tanya Barnett Show.
Hey fam, this is Tanya Barnett, the host of the Tanya Barnett Show. I'm super excited about my special guest tonight. She is Priscilla Williams. She is a author, she's an entrepreneur, she's a nursing coach, she is everything. She's an oncology nurse. So that means she has a heart of gold. I used to work for an oncology doctor, so I was a medical tech. And I worked in the ER, worked labor and delivery and all those things. So I know the energy and the heart that it takes to work in those type of environments. So thank you, Priscilla, for being with me again tonight. Okay, I had another question for you. How do you manage being a mom and a wife and all the other fly stuff that you're doing?
Yeah, that's a good question. I wouldn't say it's balance.
Okay.
Because I don't believe balance really exists.
Okay, and that's why I said manage.
Yeah, I think that most of it is just taking the time to use my discernment to where it is I need to be and who I need to be at that moment. So, if my husband needs me to be a loving wife and compassion, and if he needs to talk, if my son needs me and just spending time with him, or because it can be difficult to manage or difficult to have everything, smooth or in balance. But I believe that it's God that gives me strength to be able to do the things that I'm doing. And I've also learned to say no a lot more, Tanya. And to really be strategic about the things that I take on, whether that's business, speaking engagements, or what have you. Because everything doesn't mean it's the right opportunity for me at the right time.
Right.
So if it's not really growing me, being fruitful to my home and things like that, I've learned how to not have to just say yes because the opportunity was presented to me.
Right.
I'm learning how to say no and to be really strategic and use discernment, and if that is the right fit for me at that moment.
Wow. And that is so good, because actually I had to do that today. I had to go through my calendar now that I'll be working, and I had to say, okay, this thing is going to stay, but this thing got to go. I have 2 teenagers. My son, plays football. My daughter, this is her senior year. She's a varsity cheerleader. So even today, just trying to get, okay, this one had early practice. This one got late practice, making sure the ride share is straight, coming here to the studio, all that stuff. I really have to be clear. And I think as women, we have to understand that no is a complete sentence.
Yes.
And Julian's B. Kiganda and Christine St. Ville talk about that in their book, Whose Shoes Are You Wearing? That they actually have a chapter called No is a Complete Sentence. And being okay with your no. It's not a no, but ... is
exactly.
No. And I had to learn that the hard way, because I found people were okay telling me no, but then I'm giving you a dissertation while I'm telling you no.
Yes.
And it's like, my no has to be a no. And so I think that is just really important and key, so that we don't have burnout, so that our husbands aren't saying, you do for everybody else, but you don't do for me, and you never had time for me. And then also having these conversations. I called my husband today. I said, babe, what do you think about me not doing this event, but doing this event? So I even ran it past him, because my husband is a good buffer and a filter for me. And there's sometimes he's like, right. My husband like, babe, you're not doing that. I'm sorry.
Yes.
And I'll be in my feelings, but I know at the end of the day, he wants what's best for me. And so again, if I'm putting on too much, then that means he's going to take up the slack for that. And with us having active teenagers, that means he's going to be the one stuck doing all of that on top of working a job and things of that nature. So, no is a complete sentence, and learning how to manage that and being unapologetic with your no. Not having to apologize. And you can tell people at church no. I just want to put that out there. You could tell people at church no, okay? I don't want no angry hate mail, from the elders and the deacons. I'm just saying it's okay to say no even at church, because your first ministry is your husband, then your family, then everything outside of that. So ladies, if you got a lot going on, or you got that church guilt going on, or work guilt, or whatever guilt, let that stuff go. And also, too, if you take it to God, then you won't have the guilt, because he'll tell you let it go anyway.
Yes.
So I just think that's really key. Now, do you find time for self-care?
Absolutely.
We talked about the honey. We talked about, your son. Now he's going to college. But what about your self-care?
Yes. Well, that's really important, because especially as a nurse, I talk about that a lot.
Okay.
Even when I go out and speak, self-care is really important, because if you are not taken care of, you can't be anything to anybody else. Right. And so I think it's really important to make sure we take time to read a book, to relax, take a bath, work out, get your hair done, nails done, get a massage. All of those things are really important. And so I try to make sure that I do those things. And, sometimes it could be difficult, because you feel a little like, I need to do this, and your brain is turning. But you have to actually schedule time for yourself. Schedule time for you to take care of you. And so that way you can be a better benefit to your husband, your family, and everybody else.
Awesome. And I think putting in a planner on your phone. My phone is my go-to. I keep my Google Calendar tight and right. Even on the ride here, I was taking the dates on my Google Calendar and writing it in my planner. My husband's like, what are you doing? I was like, yo, I got to get this stuff so I can see it every day. And for me, that's really important, because I start my day and I look at my calendar. Okay, what do I have on tap today? So that I'm clear and I'm not missing appointments, because I've done that before. Of not scheduling that self-care and that making sure you go to the dentist. Something as simple as that. My kids go, my husband goes, but there's been a time where I've gone like 2 years. They're like, Miss Barnett, it's been 2 years. I'm like, are you serious? And so even something as simple as that, getting your well woman's exam, those things are self-care. And it's really important that we schedule that and don't miss those appointments, ladies. So y'all know I talk about that all the time. Get to the doctor, get your blood pressure checked, get your blood work done. A lot of us are having power surges. I'd rather say that instead of heat, hot flashes and stuff. Find out why. Is it something in your diet? Do you need to pick up some exercise? Like you said, going to the gym, walk in the neighborhood every morning, in the evening, whatever, on your lunch break. So self-care.
Or taking time to sleep.
Uh-oh. Now,
Yeah, sleep.
a lot of people look down on people who go to sleep, Priscilla. You can only function on you only need 3 hours of sleep, Priscilla. That's what I've heard. Okay, so touch on sleep for us from a medical point of view.
So you should have at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep, Tanya. And I don't know who came up with this team no sleep, but it don't make no sense. You can have team no sleep all you want and have your body full of disease. Because the reality is, think about when you don't get enough sleep, your heart is working harder, your lungs are working harder, everything is just gonna go haywire. So the best thing to do is take yourself to sleep so you can be more effective at your business, at your work, with your family, and you're present. You there. I get all my sleep.
I know that's right. And you know what I had to do? I actually have an alarm in my phone at 10:30 that says, get ready to go to bed. Because I have to remind myself to go to bed. There's been times when my husband's like, babe, shut it down, log off, enough, So I actually have an alarm in my phone to tell me to go to bed, to shut it down. And so I just think it's important that we get that sleep. So I know a lot of y'all are on team no sleep, but for real, I know sleep is very important. It helps you regulate diabetes, high blood pressure. I know when I don't get enough sleep, my gums start to swell, and I can tell my throat will start getting, scratchy. So know your body, know what's going on, and make sure that you take care of yourself. So Priscilla, before we leave out of here, how can people get in contact with you?
Yes, your listeners, so whoever's listening, can go to PriscillaQWilliams.com. I'm also on all social media sites at The Nurses Coach. And they can email me at info@PriscillaQWilliams.com. So I'm all over social media, and definitely they can connect.
Awesome. And you said The Nurses Coach, so it's
The Nurses Coach.
Plural nurses.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. So there you have it. She's available. If her story resonated with you, make sure you reach out to her and let her know, hey, Priscilla, I saw you on the Tanya Barnett show. I want to learn more about what you do. Now you did really quick. You said Nurses Coach. So what does that look like for whoever? If people don't know what a nurse coach is, can you share with them what that is?
Yeah, sure. So Tanya, I feel like there are so many nurses who are tired of working 12-hour shifts. They're tired of working holidays. They're tired of working weekends. And they know that there's more for them than just going to work and coming home. And so that's a little bit of my story. I was working in Northwestern Cancer Center in downtown Chicago, going to work, coming home, going to work, coming home. And so when I hired a life coach, that's when I began to start doing these amazing things like speaking and traveling, and knew that there was more for me besides just working as a nurse. And so I want to help nurses to push outside of the hospital setting and to begin to really live, to start speaking, to use their expertise, to start writing books, to start traveling, to start doing some of the things they desire to do, and so that's what I want to help nurses do. And so I want to coach nurses to get to the next level in their career and in their life.
Wow. I mean, until I met you, I never knew what a nurse coach was. And I just think that is fantastic, because there's so many that are that day in, day out, 3 days on, 2 days off, that whole rotation, and not really having a life. And so if you are a nurse and you're watching, or somebody that is, a family member, a sister, co-worker, whoever, make sure you have them reach out to Priscilla, so that they can, start to see that there's more to what they're doing. And we're not negating what they're doing, but she wants them to live a life outside of the 9 to 5 or the 12, the 7 to 7, or, whatever their shift is. That there's more to it. So Priscilla, I thank you so much for saying yes to me. I thank you for being my guest today.
Thank you.
Any parting words, any scripture, or any words of encouragement that you want to leave with the women that are watching tonight?
Well, first I want to say again, thank you for having me, Tanya. You are the bomb.com. You are just such an amazing woman. I told you that when I first met you. You have an amazing spirit, and your show is beautiful. Everything about you is just beautiful. And so you. I'll just leave with your listeners Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. And so I just want people to know that his plan is a great plan. And so even when you don't understand what that plan looked like, Just trust it. Trust that his plan is the best plan for you. Because our plans will get us all in trouble. But if we trust his plan, for he know the plans he has for us to prosper us. He don't want to harm us. He wants us to grow and have great success. So just trust his plan.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Priscilla, for being with us tonight. And I'm so thankful that we had an opportunity to meet and that our relationship has just flourished. I call you my sister friend. I just really appreciate you and just how you have encouraged me on my journey in just the short period of time that we've known each other. So thank you again. I hope you have a great night. And for those of you who are watching, stay tuned for after this break. We'll wrap it up here on the Tanya Barnett Show.
Century woman gotta get right. Entrepreneurship, motherhood, marriage, divorce, dating, healthy living, and thriving, of course. It's the Tanya Barnett Show. It's the Tanya Barnett Show.
Hey there. Hey everybody, this is Tanya Barnett, the host of the Tanya Barnett Show, the flyest talk show on the internet. I'm so super excited about my special guest tonight, Miss Priscilla Williams. I hope she inspired you. I hope she had you thinking about where you are in life right now and where you want to go. I hope she got you thinking, you know what? I have this challenge that's in front of me, but I can make it because Priscilla made it, because Tanya made it, because there are so many other strong women before me who have made it. There's women in my circle that I've seen made it. My mama made it. My grandma made it. So I just want you to come away from this show tonight just knowing that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Make sure you dig deep, love yourself, love other people. And I also want to thank those of you who supported Forever Free Books. We just celebrated our 3rd year anniversary. Whoop, whoop. Here in the Washington, D.C. area. Forever Free Books is my nonprofit where we give away free kids books and do story time in the Washington, D.C. area, as well as send books. We've sent books to the Bahamas, India, and other places. And so I just thank you all of our supporters. Jack and Jill gave us a check for over $2,500, Jack and Jill, Southern Maryland. So thank you so much for that. I want to thank Dr. Edith Patterson, Maryland State Delegate, for the citation from the Maryland General Assembly, the Tau Lambda chapter of Omega Psi Phi for coming out. Also, Black Child Development Institute. I appreciate them for their support. And National Hand Dance Association, they showed up strong and in numbers. So I thank you too for coming out. And just everyone that came out and supported us at our 3-year anniversary. We have more work to do, y'all. Literacy amongst African American children and children of color, illiteracy is on the rise, and so I need your help. You can reach out to me at Tanya@foreverfreebooks.org. You can go on my website, foreverfreebooks.org, if you want to make a donation. All the donations funds go to purchasing brand new books for children that look just like us. So I just want to thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart for supporting Forever Free Books and getting us to our 3rd year, y'all, and we have more work to do. Again, I'm Tanya Barnett, the host of the Tanya Barnett Show. I'm also your Real Wife Coach. Visit me at my website, realwifemovement.com. You can pick up my book there. Right now, my book is 50% off, so go on my website, click on Real Wife Shop, and my book is 50% off. And then I have a brand new book coming out. It's called Today's History Makers. That book, I'll actually be starting pre-sales next week, so be on the lookout for that. The website for that is todayshistorymakers.com. So I have a lot going on, y'all, but I'm excited. I'm excited about empowering women. I'm excited about empowering children, and I'm excited about empowering people of color. Again, this is Tanya Barnett, the host of the Tanya Barnett Show. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Century woman gotta get right. Entrepreneurship, motherhood, marriage, divorce, dating, healthy living, and thriving, of course. It's the Tanya Barnett Show. It's the Tanya Barnett
host of the Tanya Barnett Show, where we discuss the unique challenges of the 21st century women. So buckle up and get ready, sister, to get your life right.
It's the Tanya Barnett Show.